Good morning, Flosstube. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope today is filled with love for you, whether it's love from family or friends or puppies or kittens or a loved one of any kind. I hope that you celebrate the most powerful force in the world today, love. And I have something to share. My mom, my sweet mom, hi Mom, she got me this mug for Valentine's Day. I don't think I'll drink coffee or tea out of anything else now for the next year. Is that not adorable? Pink with the little white hearts. Oh, I love it so much. I love it so much. It's the perfect size. Today I have some peach tea in it, and I am a big coffee drinker, but I have started drinking more tea, and I wanted to share this with you. Whoop. Good catch. Bigelow peach tea. This actually tastes just like a peach off a tree. It's very smooth. It's not harsh. I love it. So let me get a better picture of it. There you go. So if you're looking for a new tea in your life, I'll start with some quick life updates. So the past 2 weeks have been very busy. We've gotten some snow in Michigan. We have 3 to 6 inches of snow coming this evening, like at 3 a.m. I think. So I've seen a lot of friends in Oregon that have had ice, a lot of ice storms. So I'm hoping this will be the white puffy snow. I don't mind shoveling white puffy snow, but when it's the wet, heavy, icy snow, it can be a little fun, but we'll get through it. The other big update that I had going on this past 2 weeks was my mom had hip replacement surgery. And this is her second hip replacement. Poor thing has had to have both of them done. And believe it or not, this is an outpatient procedure nowadays, which is just shocking to me that you can pull a joint out of a human being, replace it, and then put him in the car and send him home. But yeah, modern medicine. So unfortunately, it didn't go as well as we had planned. We had planned for her to come home that same day, but they used a different type of anesthesia on her this time. She didn't have a epidural like she did last time, and so it was a little bit more painful for her. So she ended up having to spend the night in the hospital, and I could not stay with her because of COVID restrictions, so that was a little tough. But I'm happy to report she is doing laps around the house. She is getting well and getting stronger every day. And so we're really looking forward to a summer with her, and she'll be able to get in the pool and swim and walk around the zoo and all the fun things. So we're really proud of her for her strength and the whole thing. Let's see, what else do I have? Okay, so I have a lot of updates today. I have a lot to share with you. I have 2 FFOs that I want to go through. I have 3 finishes. I have a bunch of whips that I worked on, plans for the next 2 weeks for February, and I have also some stitchy updates from my niece Grace, who has just recently started counted cross stitch before she was doing the stamped. And my sister Melissa, Snow Day Stitcher, she's been working away on her sampler piece, monogamous stitcher that she is, so I have some updates to share on that. And then I have some shout outs. I'd like to feature certain friends. I'm going to call it Featured Friends for the week, and then some positive notes for you. So let's get started. There's a lot to share. Okay, first of all, the 2 FFOs that I had were gifts, and both of the people who I stitched these for have received them, so I feel okay showing them here on my Flosstube. The first one was for my friend Cindy at Cindy's Cross Stitch. Cindy is one of the sweetest people. You can find her at Cindy's Cross Stitch on YouTube. She has her own Flosstube channel, and you can find her as Cindy DeRosa on Instagram. She's one of the very first people that welcomed me into the Flosstube community when I started. It was near the end of 2018 when I first discovered Flosstube and hopped on the bandwagon. So excited. But yeah, she's been so sweet to me over the years. She always sends me a card for Christmas, and she's just a really sweet, kind friend. She's very gift giving. She's always giving to other people. And as a matter of fact, right now she's doing every month, she's stitching an ornament and giving it away to a subscriber. So if you can get one of Cindy's ornaments, wow, you've hit the lotto, because that girl does some amazing finishing. But so I stitched for her this design that I'm going to show. It's called A Savior Has Been Born. It's by My Big Toe Designs, and it's featured in the 2017 Just Cross Stitch Ornament issue. So I will show you a picture here of the finish. And I had a lot of fun with this one. I actually finished it similar to what I saw in the magazine. I found a string of glass beads that complemented the colors, and I just sewed that on as the hanger. And then I used some chenille trim in the color Snow from Lady Creates, and some star fabric that I found on the back, which I thought really complemented. So she received it and she just showed it in her recent Flosstube, and I'm so glad. Cindy, I hope you feel a big hug from me, and I hope you enjoy it on your cross-stitch tree. She has a Christmas cross-stitch tree that if you're looking for some binge watching, you can go back and see those, because she goes through all of her ornaments and they're just so beautiful. So hugs, Cindy. And then the second gift that I stitched was for my friend Amy from Amy Loves Toads. You all know Amy. She's such a sweet person. She's so kind. She does regular floss tubes, so you can go back and see a bunch of her videos. She's just such a kind, wonderful person. Love you, Amy. But unfortunately, she just lost her sweet boy, Basil, and she was very sad about it, and I understand this. I've had many fur babies in my life that I've lost, and it's like losing a family member. They're just so precious to you. So I found a design on Etsy by Climbing Goat Designs, and I will insert a picture of it here. So it's just the sweetest little rainbow bridge, and I just personalized it. I backstitched Basil's name on it, and then I finished it off with some ribbon for the hanger, and then some green polka dot fabric on the back, and some more of that Lady Creates chenille snow trim, which I thought looked puffy like clouds. And so I hope you enjoy it, Amy, and I hope when you look at it, it makes you think of Basil happy and running across the rainbow bridge. So those were my two FFOs. Let's get on to finishes. So I posted these on Instagram, and thank you to all the support for everyone who made comments on them. I was on a finishing tirade because my sister Melissa, who is Snow Day Stitcher on Instagram, had a bit of an intervention with me, and we were going through my whips the last time she was here for our sister Stitchy Day, and she said, Melanie, like, you've got one chick to finish. What are you doing? So I picked out these three that she had specifically mentioned, and I was like, okay, I'm getting these done. And so the first one I'm going to share with you is by the Prairie Schooler, Just Hatched. And I had done these, let me try to get some glare off it. So I had done this first one, the bunnies, which I loved so much, and I actually turned it into an ornament that looks just like this. It has some pink on the back, and then I did like a twine cording around the edges. It turned out really cute, and I hung it on my Easter tree. And then I popped over here to do the farmer and the sheep, because who doesn't just love those adorable sheep? And so I did that one, and that is finished but not FFO'd yet. So then I hopped down to this one right here, and I thought, what a fun stitch. These chicks are so adorable. I love the pastels. They make me so happy. I adore them. I changed a little bit. The colors in this were very simple DMC, but I think the beaks were like a darker yellow color that they had charted. So I changed mine to one of my favorite colors, which is Carrot by Weeks Dye Works. I feel like that color is just the epitome of Easter. And so this is my finish. So I stitched this on 18 count white Aida, just very simple. And like I said, it was DMC. It was just a fun, sweet stitch. I plan on turning it into an ornament. I am one stitch off. These chicks right here in the third row are just one stitch off heading this way, but I don't think it's too noticeable, and I'm trying to progress myself and not rip everything out and start over. So I just became zen with the one square. I think the chicks will be fine. So I finished the chick and 2 beaks on this, and I'm super, super happy to have a finish. And that took my whip list down from 35 to 34. Woohoo! Freed up a space. Okay, the next one, this is a special shout out to Jenny, the Long Dog Stitcher. If you have not visited her Flosstube, she's got a wonderful channel. She's so funny. I just love her personality. So go give her some love on her Flosstube. But this is my longest standing whip, and this is the toy store. by Little House Needleworks, and it's part of the Hometown Holiday series. So I saw, I think it was Priscilla had stitched the tree lot. This was like 2-3 years ago. She had stitched the tree lot, and then I got online and I found this series, and I have them all. And my vision for these was, you know, stitch them and turn them into ornaments and have them on a little cross-stitch Christmas tree, which I think is still my vision. I think that would be very sweet. I stitched this one on 28 count wheat Lugana, and I do love how it turned out. I had asked before, do you guys think I should restitch it? Because I kind of want to do everything on 32, and everyone was like, no, don't restitch it. So I finished it, Jenny. I actually finished it. Can you believe it? This is the toy store, and I had very little to do. I had the back stitching of the toy store. I put beads in for the little flames on the candle instead of doing the stitch in the gold color. And the bird beak, of course, the bird beak, and some of the back stitching here with the reins on the horse, and it's done. It's done. So it felt really, really good to just get this one finished and get it out of my whip pile. So that brought 35 down to 33 with those two finishes. So that made me super, super happy. So yeah, that'll go into my pile to FFO now. And my last finish, now I had told you guys before that I stitched this on wheat Lugana, and it's not. This was a scrap, I think, of French Country Cafe vintage. I'll have to look, but I think it's vintage French Country Cafe Mocha. It's a 28 count, and I love this one. This is by Lizzie Kate, Haunted. And I had done this one previously, and then there was a glue incident when I tried to fully finish it. So this is my second time finishing this stitch. I will be more careful when finishing it this time, but I just loved the little bird and the two skinny little houses. There was something about it. So the only thing I changed on this, instead of using citronella, I think it was Weeks Dye Works citronella, I used Classic Colorworks crushed pineapple for the bright yellow color. And then I used Weeks Dye Works Concord in purple for the letters. I thought it looked really, really cute. So this is my finish, second time. And I just love it so much. It has these little sweet black buttons that you add. And now that I'm on a pillow frenzy with, you know, I just made this berries pillow that I had showed you guys, my very first little pillow. I might turn this into a little Halloween pillow. I think that would be sweet. A lot less glue involved. But yeah, so that was my third finish, and I'm super, super happy. So, in my planner that I had been doing, that I've been showing you guys, right? I have 35 available squares. That's what I want to stick to this year, is 35 whips. So I freed up 3 squares by those 3 finishes. And I put a sticker over them, and what I replaced them with down here, I added the pink Sparrow sampler, which I'll talk about in a little bit. There's a free space here now with nothing in it. And then over here, I put a sticker for Aurora Cabin, which I'll share in a little bit. So I'm staying within my 35, which is good. I'm also logging over here my finishes. So now I've got 5 finishes for 2021, which is pretty good for me. 5 finishes, and then I've been putting the things I'm gonna start here and then putting them into the squares over here. So this technique has really been working for me. I love it. I love the Happy Planner in general, but I really think it keeps me on track. So let's talk whips. Let's talk about my whips. So the focus for February, and that was on this page. I had showed you guys, I try to pick the focus pieces that I'm gonna work on. So the focus pieces for February I had listed was First Day of Christmas, Prairie, Valentine Trio, Etude, the Modern Folk Embroidery Cell, A Gift for Gracie, and those 3 that I just showed you for finishes. And only if I finished those 3 could I start Pink Sparrow and Aurora Cabin. So that makes me happy that I did, and I do plan on starting those 2. So let's go over the whips that I did. So I did not work on First Day of Christmas in the past 2 weeks, but I did work on Prairie, and this is Prairie by Theresa Kogut. This is a favorite for everybody. It is just such a beautiful stitch. A lot of stitches to it. It's not full coverage, but pretty darn close to it. And so I've been stitching this for my grandmother. Hi, Grams. And I'm really enjoying this stitch a lot. So I am stitching this on 32 count Heartland, and here is where I'm at. So she's really coming along well. You can see that where I worked, let me show, let me do the before and after. So here's a before of where I was last time. And here's where I am now. So you can see that where I worked is I went down here, and this is actually the bottom of the piece now. So I'm all the way to the bottom, and I just did this collar and neckline here of her dress. And that was just some fun stitching because it wasn't so much confetti, it was just a lot of this was a solid color. So I'm really loving this. What's left on this piece is to finish the wing over here. I have to bring her hair down. There's a curl and her neck, and then it extends a little bit more this way with some more of the dress, her hair, and the halo. So this is the first page that you're looking at here. But yeah, I'm going to keep this in my rotation for the next 2 weeks. I really, really like just, working on this one a little at a time because it's a very intense focus piece for me, and making progress on it, and so that Grandma will have it soon. That was Prairie by Theresa Kogut. Okay, the next one that I worked on is my Modern Folk Embroidery Cell. And if you're not aware of this one is called The Fruit of Plenty. And the inspiration behind that was talking about the kindness that was seen in 2020 with the pandemic and everything going on, and that kindness is a fruit of plenty. And so Modern Folk Embroidery is doing their own Flosstube now, and they explain that probably much more eloquently than I just did. But as you can see, so this is a stitch along, and there's 12 pieces that are released 1 per month. And so I started up here obviously in January with everyone else. Now you can see a lot of people are doing this two-tone. There's like a very light color in this heated blue. So there's a light blue and a dark blue in this. And then you can see some of the, the fabric, the negative space is like actually forms patterns because you're filling in the background with the floss colors. So it's just so beautiful. He also did mention that there's going to be several house options in the middle. So this house here is not necessarily the one you have to stitch. There'll be different houses you can choose from, which I think is super fun. But I love this little squirrels, and I just love the birds, everywhere the birds, and the heart with the hands. It's just such a beautiful piece. And it really is a big piece. Looking at it, I was like, oh, sure, I'll do a stitch along, no problem. Well, there's like, I think Shiloh from Cross Stitch MD is, X Stitch MD has just mentioned, she put it in Pattern Keeper, and it's like between, I think she said 4,800 and 5,000 stitches per section for each month. So it's definitely taking up a lot of my time, but I'm happy to do it. I'm really loving it. And then there's also people who are doing this monochromatically. So if you go to the hashtag MFE20, I think it's MFE Sal 2021. I'll put it here on screen. If you go look at that, there's been so many different color conversions, which are beautiful. And then, like I said, some people are just doing it monochromatically. So it's really, you can really tailor it to your tastes and, let your creativity and artistic expression come through. So I am stitching this on 32 count light sand Belfast, and I do love this color. It's just a very soft, like sand, like a very soft beige, browny, yellow color. And the DMCs that I chose for my piece are 3064, which is Desert Sand by DMC, and 3031, which is like a mocha chocolate brown. And I love pinks and browns together. It's one of my favorite color palettes. So I will show you a picture of where I was the last time you saw this. And like I said, I was working on January, so I just stitched my little fingers like crazy, and I finished January, and I'm on into February. So my plan for this, I'm not going to stress too much if I don't finish the section within the month because, life happens and there's other things I want to stitch. But I do want to keep along on pace so that I'm at least touching that section within the month so that this one doesn't linger on and I can actually get it finished. So here is where I am at. And as you can see, oh, that's a perfect representation of the color right there of the fabric. I just love it. I love how that pink, that 3064 is just forming those flowers with the light sand Belfast behind it. I just think it's such a soft, kind of muted color palette. It's just relaxing and soothing to me when I look at it. And I'm just having so much fun with it. And you know, this is another one too. It's good for TV stitching because you are concentrating a bit, obviously, when you get down to form those flowers. But there's a lot of just straight, you know, straight sections. There's a lot of just fill-in sections. And so I'm having so much fun with this. I'm having so much fun with this. So I'm starting over here into January. And January is this really pretty, this second section up top here. It's this really pretty heart with the crown. So it's definitely working, you know, January, February, March. He's working across in the patterns that he releases. And so I'm just loving this one. So this is definitely obviously going to stay in my rotation for the next 2 weeks. I'd like to make some more progress on the February section and just keep going. It's so beautiful. And when it's finished, it's going to be a very large piece. I mean, obviously, as you can tell, this is a huge piece of fabric. But I'm loving every minute, so bring on all the stitching, all the gigantic pieces. It's all good with me. Okay, next is Valentine Trio. So I worked a little bit on Valentine Trio, not a ton, but in my previous Flosstube, so I had finished this first one and I was now working on this second house here, which has the 2 little doves holding a Valentine. So sweet. I love this one so much. Ah, adorable. And I you know, in my my wish list, you know, I have pictures on my phone saved in my wish list, and then I have on 123 Stitch, I have a wish list. So I'm always like saving things I see from all you Flosstube enablers out there. So I have, they have several of these. So there's the turkey trio, there's the Halloween trio, there's a fall trio, a summer trio, spring trio. So yeah, I want to do all these. I think they're such sweet little stitches, and I'm going to just finish them off as like little ornaments that I can hang from a shelf in my kitchen. So yes, going to keep working on these. I am stitching this on 32 count beautiful beige with all of the called for flosses. And this is where I'm at. So let me show you a picture from last time. Okay, and so now you can see where I've come. I've come up the side here some more with the border. I did the back stitch Be Mine, and then I finished 2 little hearts and part of a dove. So it was like an evening worth of stitching. I just, you know, it's such a fun stitch. The colors are so bright and cheerful. I'm really, really looking forward to having these all done. I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, so is that all? Okay, so those are the whips that I worked on. Now let's talk about future plans. So like I said, I'm sticking to 35, and I got my 35 squares here. And so the 2 that I filled back in are Pink Sparrow and Aurora Cabin. And so let me show you these. They're so beautiful. And then there's one more, Gracie. I mentioned Gracie's gift. So my niece Gracie is having a birthday in March. And so if you're watching Gracie, you must turn away because I don't want you to see this. Okay, so this is Balloon. And I found this on Etsy by SV Stitch. I think this is just the sweetest little stitch. I'm so looking forward to it. So I'm waiting for the DMC for this to arrive, and then I'm gonna get started on it. And I'm thinking about doing it on, I have some amber linen, which I think would really, really make that white pop. So this will definitely be in the rotation in the next 2 weeks to get started on this one. And then I mentioned Pink Sparrow. Now I ordered the pattern from Jen's Stitching Niche, and it's on the way, which I'm super excited. She was super, super fast to ship it to me. But I did get my fabric, and I did get the flosses, and I just have to share this with you. It just is, it's just so yummy. So this is 32 count parchment linen by Weeks Dye Works, and here are the flosses that go with it. Oh my gosh, look at these colors. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I'm so excited. Kim Goldman, my friend on Flosstube, Contented Stitcher, she has this stitch, and she does have it in the background of a couple of her videos. And I just, oh my gosh, I fell in love with this. And then when these flosses came all stacked on top of each other with that linen, oh, it's just so beautiful. So I really think this is gonna put me in the spring mood. And you know how I've been into the bird feeders lately. I'm telling you, these birds are eating me at a house and home. I fill my 2 bird feeders like every day and a half. They go through 2 containers of seed. And it's funny because I've seen cardinal, male and female now. I've had a blue jay, several blue jays. I have like a pack of 8 mourning doves. I've never seen so many mourning doves all together, but they all sit in the tree out in front of my house and wait for the seed. But my favorite are the sparrows. I love sparrows. I think they're just such simple little creatures, and they're just so sweet. Like if you ever hear them chirping, they just have the happiest little chirping sound. So when I saw a pink sparrow, I was like, yes, I have to do this. And look at those colors. So I'm definitely starting this as soon as the pattern arrives. I can't wait. So next Flosstube in 2 weeks, you will see the pink sparrow sampler started. Loving that, loving it so much. And I will insert, you know what, let me insert a picture here of the pink sparrow sampler so you can see it. Okay, and then Aurora Cabin. I had talked about this one previously. I found this on, I actually found this on Amazon. It came up probably because I look for so much cross stitch stuff, and you know, I wanted to do a full coverage. And I know this is going to be a journey piece. Like this is going to take me a long time. It's definitely not a hate like some of you amazing stitchers do, but it is a big piece, and I love the scene. Isn't that just so relaxing with the Aurora Borealis? It's just so beautiful. Amy from Amy Loves Toads and I have decided that we are going to just go live there with all the dogs and all the stitching. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Leanne from Small Town Stitches too, she wanted to go. So us 3 girls with all the dogs and all the stitching. We'll be living here shortly. So yeah, so I'm gonna be working on that one as well. That's my plans for the next 2 weeks. And so let's move on to gift away. So my gift away from last time, let me take this out of the package, is by Hands On Design, and this is a collaboration with Stitching with the Housewives. And this is called Carrots and Cottontails Farms, because I think we're all in the mood for spring. I think we're all ready. At least if you're living in Michigan, piled under snow, you might be ready. But here is the gift away. And I just thought this one was so cute because, you know, they do several little patterns in the one design. So you can do the big piece or just this, you know, Carrots and Cottontail Farm, or you can make a little small out of it. So much fun. So there were 8 of you who entered this gift away, and I did the random comment picker, and the winner is M. Hinton. So I will comment on your comment with my email. If you could send me an email with your address, I will get this right out in the mail to you. And I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you share some pictures of it stitched. I think it's going to be a super fun Easter stitch for you. So congratulations. Okay, and then 2 more things I wanted to go through. I wanted to do a featured friends section, and not just for Flosstubers, but for Instagrammers too. I've done a little bit in the past shouting out certain friends on Instagram, and I just think it's so fun because if I'm not on Flosstube watching videos, I'm on Instagram scrolling through all the beautiful patterns and all the beautiful stitching. So this week I have 2 Instagrammers I want to shout out. The first one is Robin in Virginia, and I will insert the name somewhere in here so that you can go check her out. What a sweetie she is. I think she comments on every one of my posts. She's just one of those really kind people that takes the time out of her day to just leave a kind word or a kind comment. And I think she's a beautiful stitcher. I think she's a beautiful person. And thank you so much for being an Instagram friend, Robin. Keep doing what you're doing. And then next is my friend Ada from Ada Stitches. And I had asked both of these ladies if it was okay if I shouted them out today. And they both said yes. And Ada Stitches sent me a picture of herself so you can get to know her better. So here's her. And then here's some of her stitches. She had her top 9 in 2020, and you can just see how much stitching this sweet lady has been doing. Beautiful pieces, and I'll insert a picture of those here. Just gorgeous. And so I hope you go and check them out. I hope you go and tell them I said hi. And now let's talk about my my sister, my stitchy sister, and my stitchy niece. Both of my nieces actually stitch, but my niece Grace just recently learned counted cross stitch. Now the funny thing about Grace is that she's just one of those people. She has an independent spirit, and there's just nothing she can't do. There's nothing she can't do. And so she decided that her first counted cross stitch, she was going to make her own. She wasn't going to follow a pattern. She was just going to make her own cross stitch. And so this is Gracie's cross stitch from a piece of fabric, no pattern, that she made herself. I'll insert a picture here. Isn't that just the sweetest? It's so beautiful. She added a wishing well, and there's a little garden, and there's so much detail. There's shutters on the little windows. I'm just so proud of you, Grace. I mean, it just reminded me of the samplers that we all love. It was these very young girls who made these beautiful designs and stitched their homes and just, you know, took a piece of fabric and just started. And I just love it, Grace. It's so beautiful. And so she's now working on her first counted cross stitch pattern. And this is March Flippits by Lizzie Kate. I gifted it to her, and here is a picture of where she's at with that. So look at those perfect little stitches. That pot of gold, I'm telling you, Grace Rose, is just beautiful. So I'm so proud of you. And I'm so excited that it gives you so much joy. And then my sister Melissa, who is the Snow Day Stitcher, she has been working like crazy on her sampler. And this is the Always Flower sampler. And I forget who it's by, so I'll have to put it here. And then this is where she's at with this. So they have been stitching like crazy over there in my sister's household, and I'm so proud of Grace, and I'm so happy that she loves the craft. And my other little niece, Amelia, has been really getting into diamond dots. So I know that a lot of you are into diamond dot painting. I haven't tried it before. Okay, and then lastly, before I close, I just wanted to do my inspirational card. And so I had done, what are these called? These are called I Am Everything affirmation cards. And they're just like happy little sayings of like self-love and affirmation. And last time I read I Am Love, and card number 2 is I Am Free. So I thought I would share this with you today. So I am free. I release myself from the thoughts and feelings that have held me back. Any guilt, shame, embarrassment, self-doubt, and fear that I harbor, I release. Today, I am free. So isn't that sweet? So I hope you are free, and I hope you just let go of any bad juju that you might have hanging around or negative thoughts, and just look positive and look ahead to 2021. And until I see you again next time, which will be in 2 weeks, I'll be back in 2 weeks to share my progress. Happy stitching, and I'll see you later.